Okay, how many of you in the room have watched the Simon Sinek video that we sent out, the Why? Okay. If you didn't raise your hand, have you heard about Why? Okay, good. All right, that's more than half the round, Gary. All right, so I'm going to read this because I don't want to get it wrong. But I do want to start off with telling you that Mark and I just became, I don't know what you'd say, certified Why coaches. Good way to put it. Just another tool to add to our bag, if you will, of how we help each one of you in your businesses, and we think this part is critical. So we're pleased that because of our relationship with Gary, he agreed to be here today to introduce it to all of you. Dr. Gary Sanchez believes there's always a better way. As a dentist, inventor, author, and speaker, he's always in search of a better way. Struggling to stand out in the crowded dental marketplace led him on his quest to learn about the power of why. He found that many experts talk about the need to know your why, but none helped him actually discover his why. His obsession with why led him to discovering his own why, as well as the process for helping others discover theirs. Applying his why to his dental practice took his practice from just getting by to having abundance in the development of the Why Institute to help other business owners. Dr. Sanchez and his team have now worked with over 40,000 individuals, as well as 500 companies, from small yoga studios to Fortune 500 companies, helping them get clear, stand out, and play big. So if you would please give a warm welcome to Dr. Gary Sanchez.
Thank you. Hey, so real quickly, everybody stand up for just a second. Stand up, put your right hand in the air, and give 2 high fives to people around you and say, you're going to know your why today. Now you can sit down. Yeah, this is an attentive group. All right, so I didn't get to see that, but real quickly, how many of you have heard about the concept of why? Raise your hand. Okay, how many of you have not heard about the concept of why? Okay, so for those of you that haven't, I'm going to bring you all up to speed. For those of you that have, we're going to go a lot deeper today. All right, so as Mark Twain says, the 2 most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why. I see it a little bit differently. I see it more like this. Imagine Clark Kent sitting right here. He's in his suit. He's playing small. He's meek. He's mild-mannered. But when he gets up and he takes that off his shirt, and you get to see the big S, suddenly you see his superpower. Suddenly the real Superman comes forward. And you have that same thing. And when we unleash your why today, you're going to see some amazing things happen. Right? Clarity, confidence, direction, decisions come from your why. And so you're going to see that today. Now, today, this is going to be really valuable for you guys if my remote works. Today's going to be a little bit... Now it's working. Okay. So this is for you. If you want to know your why, if you've heard about it, you've thought about it, you've wondered about it, but now you want to know it, because you're going to discover it today. If you're doing, something's up with my little remote, if you're doing good already, if your business is already doing good and you want to do better, and if you want to attract the right new clients to your business, this is going to be really, really valuable for you today. Now it's going to be a little bit different because what I'm going to share is not theory. It's not another concept that you have to go figure out how to use. You know how you read those books and you love what you're reading, and then when it comes time to actually doing it, you can't do it, and it just kind of pisses you off? Well, today, this is going to be very practical. We're going to actually do it. And so the other thing is it's proven. I've done this with 40,000 people. I've done this with 500 companies all over the world. Like Nicole said, from small yoga studios to $500 billion companies and everywhere in between. So we have a lot of experience doing this. And lastly, it's a process. So what's really cool about processes is that it's a sequence of events that if you follow the process, you get the results. So I'm going to show you that process today so that you can do it. Now my big promise, we are going to unleash your why today so that you get clear. Michelle's already seen this, so you get clear, you stand out, and you can then go play big. But the challenge that we're running into, I don't know if I'm hitting this or if it's on its own or something, but here's the challenge. I only have an hour, and I lobbied for more time from Nicole and Mark, and they said no. So I got about an hour to go through this with you. So I don't want you to be thinking, how do we take this further? I don't want you to be thinking, how are we going to get this done? I want you to focus on what we're doing now, and I promise that at the end, I will show you a way that you can take this a little bit further that Mark and Nicole and I talked about. All right? So here's some of the challenges you might be facing. You might have a stall or decreasing revenue. Maybe your revenue graph, instead of looking like this, looks maybe like this, or even like this, like some of you talked about. Or maybe you're not sure of exactly how to stand out in your marketplace, right? Maybe there's a lot of competition in your marketplace. Maybe there's more and more competition right now. And maybe you're not attracting the right new clients. Maybe you're not getting the right ones to notice you and come see you. And maybe you just feel like you're kind of playing small, right? You could play a lot bigger, but you don't know what to say, so you just kind of hang in there and hope, right? You hope people come see you. And this can lead oftentimes to fear. Fear of being unsure, or fear of not knowing what to do, or fear of not knowing what the next step is. And what we really want is to have that revenue. I really want my remote to work. That's what I really want in this moment. We really want our revenue to increase, right? We really want to connect and attract new clients, new team members. Some of your businesses are going great, and you need new people to come to you. How are you going to get the right ones? We really want to get clear on our message. Who are we? And we really just want to stand out. Thank you, that would be really nice. I don't know what's on the step on this thing.
You don't have a USB drive.
Right here.
Do you? Oh, okay.
There we go, we'll get this. While we're waiting.
Don't even.
Let's see, is that working? Hey, there we go. Thank you. My hero. So, I know about this firsthand because that was me as well. I had those challenges. This was a picture of me. I graduated from USC Dental School in 1988. I look about the same, don't I? Huh? Which one am I? Does anybody know which one I am? On the right. That's me right there. Holy cow, love that hairdo. Oh, I should put an arrow? Okay. Well, do you remember when your first day of work, your first day opening your business? Remember how excited you were? You just couldn't wait for the phone to ring. You couldn't wait to help somebody find their new house. You couldn't wait to help somebody build their new piece of jewelry, design it, and figure it out. You're so excited to do it, right? Sell your first policy. Oh man, I can't wait to go help them. Well, that was me. I couldn't wait to get back to Albuquerque. Nobody was going to have a cavity in Albuquerque while I was a dentist, right? I'm fixing every tooth there is. And this is the advice that I was given. If you build a great product, people will come. Have you guys heard that?
Yeah.
Go out and do the best job you can, and people will mysteriously find you. I don't know how it's going to happen. They're going to mysteriously find you if you just do a great job. And so I took that advice, and I spent 20 years building the best product I could build. I went to the best institutes. I studied with the best dentists. I built a beautiful facility. I spent hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars on all the latest technology. I had all the stuff, and I had a great product. But people didn't come. They didn't even know. I felt like the best kept secret in Albuquerque. That's a picture of me. I went from that excited guy to this guy. That's a picture of me sitting in my office, looking at my computer screen at my half-empty schedule, wondering how could this have happened to me? I did what I was told to do, and it's not working. And I remember listening in my operatories, and it was silent. And I remember my heart just pumping. And I could taste the anxiety of, what the hell am I going to do? What else can I do? I have all this stuff. I focused on what I was doing, and I made it as good as I could make it, and it's not working. I knew in that moment that what I'd been doing was looking outside of myself for answers. If I buy another piece of technology, if I hire another team member, that's going to solve my problem, right? It didn't. I knew I had to look inside myself and say, who am I? Why do I do what I do? What is my gift? What do I bring? So, since I didn't know what to do, I did what a lot of you all did, which is I went out and I hired a coach. I would have hired these guys if I'd have known them. This was back in 2009. I hired a coach, and this coach taught me how to use the internet, taught me how to do websites, taught me how to do drip campaigns, taught me how to do SEO, taught me how to get my message out to the world. And so now I could tell everybody about me. But the only problem was, what am I going to say? What am I going to say that separates me from everybody else who does what I do? What are you guys going to say that separates you from everybody else who does what you do? Since I didn't know what to say, I just stayed quiet. Because I didn't want to sound bad. Until one day, I heard my mentor interview Simon Sinek. Everybody know who Simon Sinek is? You're going to watch his video? Right? So if you're not familiar with it, let me go through this. Simon developed this concept here, the golden circle concept. I don't know why it's in white, but it's called the golden circle concept. And what he says is that inspiring people like Steve Jobs, Martin Luther King, inspiring companies like Apple, Southwest Airlines, Harley Davidson, they all communicate the same way, and it's the opposite to the way that you and I communicate. Where we tell people what we do, they tell people why they do it. He says everybody knows what they do. I'm a dentist, I'm a veterinarian, I'm a chiropractor, I'm a realtor. Some know how they do what they do, and by how we mean what your proprietary process is, or the things that you think make you different. But very few know why they do what they do. Right? Why we mean what's your purpose, what's your cause, what's your belief. And he says it's the inspiring companies that start with why, then tell you how they do what they do, and lastly, what they do that connects to you in a completely different way that allows you to make a decision to buy their product, join their cause, buy their service. And as soon as I heard that, I said, man, that's what I don't have. I have everything else. I'm doing great in everything else, but I don't know my why. So I became obsessed with discovering my why. I called Simon. I said, Simon, you can help me discover my why. He says, I don't really know how to do it, but let's try it. So we spent about 8 months together, going back through my life, trying to figure out why I do what I do. And I kept working with it and working with it, and I finally figured it out. My why is to find a better way and then share it. Find a better way and then share it. And then all of a sudden my life made sense to me. I've got lots of patents and products and inventions, all better ways of doing things. I developed a chair for people to sit all the time. They use it in NASA and Sandia Labs. It's a better way to sit. I started fitness challenges for everyday people, a better way to get in shape. Everything's always about finding a better way to do things. And so I took what I learned from my mentor, and I took what I learned from Simon, and I created this whyification process back in 2010. Why do we do what we do? How do we do what we do? What is it we do? What is our vision for what we do? Who is it we need to attract to create that vision? And what is it they want so we know where to find them and how to talk to them? And I applied that to my practice back in 2010. My practice took off. We went from 4 to 6 new patients a month for my brother, who's a dentist, and myself, which is barely surviving, to 45 patients a month, 35 to 45 a month, which in our practice is significant. So we had the most new patients, most revenue, most fun, most satisfaction, most enjoyment. It's just fun when you have abundance, right? Abundance is a lot of fun. Survival is not much fun. I've been to both. But the most important thing I learned was this. When you know your why, what you do has more impact. What you do has more meaning. What you do has more direction. When you know your why. I said, wow, I had been focused on my what forever, and it didn't get me anywhere. It got me a better product, but it didn't get me out to the marketplace. When I focused on my why, everything came together. Everything came together. And so what happened to me, actually, is I started to get calls from other dentists asking me to help them do what I did. So I started working with dentists, and I worked with about 150 dentists. And I started getting calls from chiropractors, and I worked with over 100 chiropractors, then lawyers, then financial groups. And businesses kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And what was really cool is I got to sit down with them and help them discover their why. Remember, my why is to find a better way and share it. So I took what Simon started and I made it better. So instead of taking 8 months, I could help somebody in about an hour discover their why. And then I would help them implement the whyification process, and I saw them go from talking about what they do to talking about why they do it. That's what I want to see for you guys today. That's what our goal is going to be for you guys today. I want to see you go through the transformation of not talking about what you have, or what you do, or what you're selling, to why you're doing it. Because what that does is it allows people to answer the question, why should I choose you? That's what they're really asking. Why should I choose you as my realtor? Why should I choose you as my dentist? Why should I choose you as my veterinarian? Why should I choose you for what you do? Because there's a lot of other choices out there. I can buy insurance from anybody, but why should I buy from Kevin? You'd be able to answer that question. You see, because transformation is not about being who you want to be. Transformation is about you discovering you. You're already good enough. You already have that superpower. It's already inside of you. You just have to know what it is. So we're going to do that today. So we stop talking about it and you actually have it. All of that happens when you discover your why. Because what we talked about is we're going to unleash your why so that you can get clear, so that you can stand out, and so that you can play big. So in order to do that, I'm going to talk about 3 strategies today. 3 strategies. These are those 3 strategies. Actually, this is the first strategy. The first strategy is why first. Why first. Your why comes first. Your why comes before everything you do. You need to know your why before you start marketing, before you build your brand, before you start hiring, before you do anything, you need to know your why. And I want to show you why. Why you need to know your why. I want to show you a little video. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to let you watch this. Oh, that's what it was. So the audio wasn't working when we first got here this morning, and so we started messing with all kinds of stuff. And of course we didn't look at the first thing is the cable disconnected. That would be too simple, right? We did find it out. Okay, let me let you watch this, and then we'll talk about it.
Series is called How Do I Know? And a lot of times when people hear the phrase, how do I know, the next thing they say is what? How do I know what? But the key really isn't to know what, the key is to know why. Because when you know your why, you have options on what your what to be. For instance, my why is to inspire people to walk in purpose. My what is stand-up comedy. My what is writing books. My what could be going out with some friends to eat. In fact, another what that is moving towards my why is a web series that we have out now called Break Time. So every Wednesday at 3 o'clock, you should subscribe to the channel. We do a series called Break Time on YouTube. So 3 o'clock, we drop a new episode. One episode in particular, I'm about to show you a clip to. We're in Winston-Salem. So break time, this is how it works. I travel the country, I do stand-up comedy, probably an hour and a half at an event. And in the middle of my show, I'll just sit down and start talking to the audience. And funny just happens. Or I'll meet somebody who's really interesting. So I met this one guy, and he said that he teaches music at school. I was like, all right, I can teach music, can you sing? And then I'm just gonna show you a clip. Check it. So you're a musical director?
Yes, sir.
All right, so let me get a couple bars of like Amazing Grace. Can you do the first part of that? Go ahead. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. That bro can sing. You know what I'm saying? All right. Now, we should give you a version. Is if your uncle just got out of jail, you got shot in the back when you was a kid. I'm just saying, let me see the little version real quick. You know the version I'm talking about. Just see if that exists. This is what you got. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. First time I asked him to sing, he knew what he was doing. The second time I asked him to sing, he knew why he was doing it. When you know your why, your what has more impact because you're walking in or towards your purpose.
What you guys think? Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, that's pretty cool. So let me ask you a question.
Can you sing?
I'm not gonna sing. No singing here. So the first time he sang, was he bad? No. He was already doing well. Everybody already kind of liked it, right? Well, how about that second time? What did you guys notice?
Our soul, it is.
Heart, soul. What else? Action? Passion. Anything else? Purpose. What did you notice about the audience? More impact, more meaning, right? You're giving him an ovation, bowing to him, and we were all doing the same sort of thing, right? So, wouldn't it be nice to have that kind of reaction to your business? You sell somebody a house and they bow to you? That might be pretty nice, right? Here's your insurance policy. Oh, thank you. Let's see if we can get there. So I want to share with you this peak performance framework. Okay, I want to talk about focus and sales. What's your focus and what are your sales? Okay, so are you focused on your why or are you focused on your what? And you have high sales and low sales. So if your focus is on your why, but you're not getting any sales. Nothing's happening. We call those businesses really just frustrated. You're just frustrated, man. We're talking the game, we're in the game, but we're not getting anything done. And we're just very frustrated. And when your focus is on what you're doing, and you have a lot of sales coming through the door, so much that you can't even breathe, we call that overwhelmed. Some of you might be in overwhelm right now. You just have too much, but they're not necessarily the right ones. I've been there as well. Too many patients, but not the right patients. And when you're focused on your what and you're not getting any sales, you're really just in survival. But when you're focused on why you do what you do, what is our cause, what is our belief, and you have high sales, that's when you perform at peak performance. Right? Is this making sense?
Yes.
So what I want you to do is think about where you're at, where your business is at right now. And I want to give you about 30 seconds to tell the person next to you. Take the person next to you and just tell them, this is where I'm at. Let you go, 30 seconds. You guys got it? Okay, here we go. I got a question for you. Every one of these we're going to have a question and we need to make some decisions. How many of you in the room consider yourself to be action takers? Action takers. Awesome. So in order to take action, you need to make a decision. So we're going to ask you some questions and we're going to see what kind of decisions we want to make. But the question I have for you is, what will it take for your company to perform at the highest level? What will it take for your company to function at peak performance? And I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Write down on your paper or whatever you're working on, what is it going to take for your company to function at peak performance? 30 seconds. Write something down. Don't have to get it right. Just give it a try. So how about we make a decision that our company will perform at peak performance. Does that seem reasonable? Our company will perform at peak performance. And so we talked about, you gotta know your why first before you start any of this. If you're gonna be focused on your why, to be in peak performance, you gotta focus on your why and you gotta have high revenue, but you gotta know your why, right? So how about if we discover your why right now? So you know your why. And what I didn't tell you was, as I started helping companies discover and live their why, I had to help people figure out their why. And I did this with so many thousands of people all over the world, and I started to notice patterns and trends and similarities. And then I was able to get all of this data and write a software program where you can now go online and in about 4 or 5 minutes discover your why. And so that's what we're going to do right now, and that's why Mark was saying you needed to have your phone. So what I want you to do is get your cell phone out, or your iPad, or your computer, and I want you to go to whyinstitute.com. Whyinstitute.com. Everybody know how to get to a website? You'd be surprised. Whyinstitute.com. You can even put it in Google if you want. Some people always go to Google. Go to whyinstitute.com, click on the red button. Click on the red button right there. It says, I need to discover my why. And then it's going to come to this screen here, and there's going to be a little thing that says add code. Use the code ACTION2020. ACTION2020, and it'll be free. Nope. Everybody finding it? Anyone not finding it? And then it'll take you to this, and then you just discover your why. We'll give you about 5-6 minutes. Yeah, if you've already done your why, you don't have to do it again, unless you want to. If anyone's having a problem, raise their hand. Okay, so let's keep going. So there are 9 whys. That's the interesting thing. There's 9 whys. And so everybody that has the why of contribute, stand up. Everybody with the why of contribute, stand up. Okay, these are so the first why is to contribute to a greater cause, make a difference, add value, have an impact in the lives of others. These are the people that want to use their time, their money, their energy, their connections to help other people do better. They're great teammates. They're great to have on your team. Let's give them a hand. Okay, how about trust? Who has the why of trust? Stand up. Interesting. So these are the people that the why is to create relationships based upon trust, to be the trusted source, to be the one that others can count on. If you can trust them and they can trust you, the sky is the limit. But if you break their trust, that's a really big deal, which you don't want to do. So these are people that are great at establishing relationships with other people. Let's give them a hand. How about the why of make sense? Make sense. We got about 6 of you. These are the ones, the whys to make sense out of things, especially if complex or complicated. These are great problem solvers. These are the ones that you could just dump all your stuff onto, and they can quickly synthesize it down to that thing that's keeping you stuck, helping you understand it so that you can move forward. So they're great at helping you move forward by helping you solve your problems. Let's give them a hand. How about better way? All the better ways. These are my people. All right, these are the ones that are, these people, they're really good at innovating. They're really good at taking something that's already there and making it better. Always asking the question, how can we improve upon it? Let's give them a hand. How about right way? Right way. Ah, interesting. So these are the people that do things the right way in order to get results. They are results, process, systems people. They take the ideas that all the rest of us have and they put them into action by creating processes and systems that work. Now on the other end of the story, let's have the challenge people stand up. Challenge people. Ah, interesting. So these are the ones that think outside the box. These are the ones that see the world differently. These are the ones that imagine extraordinary, do things their own way. The idea of following a recipe is probably not even possible for them. Let's give them a hand. How about master? Master. Yeah, we got 3 of them. Interesting. So these are the people that like depth and breadth and detail. They take the simple and make it complex. They know a lot about a lot. They're the ones that, for you and I, it's 3 steps to cook a scrambled egg. For them, it's 28 steps because they know everything about every step along the way. Let's give them a hand. How about clarify? All the clarifiers, stand up. Ah, interesting. These are the ones that things have to be crystal clear. They want to be fully understood, and they want you to fully help them get understood. They're the ones that will raise their hand in class and say, can I ask a question, please? I need to ask a question. But when things are clear, they can move forward. So let's give them a hand. And last, we got simplify. Let's have all the simplifiers stand up. Ah, interesting. These are the ones that take the complex and break it down to its simplest form, because when it's simple, it's easy to understand. Kind of interesting that I just found this out. What's the name of your company?
We simplify internet.
We simplify the internet. Your company? And what is your tagline? Very interesting. I wonder how that happens. I wonder why you were attracted to that. That's strange. All right, so now you know your why, and I hope everybody in here got a chance to do it. And we're going to use that as we go forward. So everything you do comes from the perspective of why you do what you do, not just what you do. There's lots of different website companies, but only Yuka is the one that's going to help you do it in a simple way so that you actually understand it. Does that make sense now? So, a question for you. Imagine what your business would feel like if you focused on your why first. If you talked about what you do from the perspective of why you do what you do, and not just what you do, how would that affect your business? Take 30 seconds and write an answer to that. 30 seconds. So how about we make a decision to make a greater impact? We must focus on our why first. Like you saw with the singer, he could already sing pretty well, but when it came from his why, that's when it was amazing. Same thing for your business. You're already doing pretty darn well, but if you start with your why first, that's when it has impact. Okay, let's go to the next strategy. The first strategy was why first. The second strategy is sequence matters. Sequence matters. It's the application of information in the right sequence that yields results. If you're trying to bake a cake, or if you're trying to build a barbecue, I remember, my wife actually is in the room, she's sitting in the back there, and I remember when we first got married, I went out and bought a barbecue. You remember what it was like to buy a barbecue? And you had to put the darn thing together, and there was 1,000 pieces or something like that, and you're supposed to lay them all out, and then you had this huge thing to make of directions, and you had to follow step by step. If any of you have done it, you know what I'm talking about. Or even baking a cake, right? Putting things in the right sequence. But what's weird is if you don't follow the directions, like I didn't, you end up with a bag of bolts and nuts at the end. Now you're wondering, what did I not put together? What's going to fall apart? Right? It's the application of information in the right sequence that yields results. And so let me explain how this works biologically. Biologically, I want to talk to you for a minute about the brain. And when you write this down on your paper, all you're going to need to do is draw two circles. I want to talk to you about the outer part of the brain, called the neocortex, and the inner part of the brain, called the limbic brain. Now, the neocortex is responsible for rational and analytical thought and language. What that means is that it understands lots of data, facts, figures, features, are all understood at the level of the neocortex. You can tell, but what's interesting about the neocortex is no decisions are made at the level of the neocortex. So you could tell a prospective client all the facts and figures and features of your business or your product or your service, and they will look at you and they will say, yes, I understand what you're saying, but let me think about it. You guys ever heard, let me think about it? Many times, right? Let me think about it. Makes sense to me, but let me think about it. When you connect to somebody at the level of the limbic, that was my fault. level of the limbic brain, it's responsible for feelings like loyalty and trust. Decision making happens at the level of the limbic brain. You buy, how many people in this room have ever bought something they didn't need? Yeah. It's called Target, yeah. How many of you bought the new iPhone when the old iPhone was fine? Right? You bought it? Yeah, exactly. So you buy something because it feels right, because they connect it to you at the level of the limbic brain, and then you justify it with the neocortex. I went out, I didn't even need a new car, but I bought a new car, and I bought a car that I definitely didn't need, but now I have it, and now I'm justifying it with the neocortex, right? I went out and bought this giant truck. I don't even need a truck. I don't ever put anything in the back of a truck. But I have a giant truck now.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong, it makes sense to us, right? Feels right. And then I justified it with the neocortex. So look, if you want someone to buy your product, join your service, buy your cause, you have to connect to them at the level of the limbic brain first, and then they'll justify it with the neocortex. And how you do that is by starting with your why first. Talking about your why first. The sequence is why, how, what. It's not what, how, why. Who's on first? Right? Why. Why is on first, second is how, and what is third. How you do that is by talking about what you believe. Believe is how you start with your why. So let me show you an example. Here's a company that I worked with. Some of you know them, some of you are members. The Albuquerque Hispano Chamber of Commerce. This was their website before. This is what it had for their tagline. We are more than a chamber. How's that fire you up? Yeah, baby, working with their chamber, I'm going to join that. And this is what they said. Albuquerque Hispano Chamber is a member-focused business organization, and we are proud to be one of the largest Hispanic chambers in the country. Our members are the core of everything we do, and you support our organization by collaborating with us in a variety of ways. I got nothing, right? Felt nothing.
Can we join?
That's what we do. That's focused on their what. You guys see that? So we took them through the process of discovering their why, their how, their what. We redeveloped their message, we put it in the right sequence, we redeveloped their tagline, and went from that to this. Join, connect, thrive. We believe that when you join, we will help you connect, and you will thrive. And now it says, we believe in contributing to a greater cause. We believe in adding value to your membership. The way we do that at the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber is by providing a place where successful people can meet and collaborate. What we found is that most people are one connection away from realizing their dreams. We believe your success is our success. Does that feel different?
Yes.
If you believe what they believe, then this is the right place for you. If you don't believe what they believe, then it's not the right place for you, and that's okay too. Right? You want to work with people that believe what you believe, but first you have to know what it is you believe. And how you do that is when you go with your why first. Make sense? You guys got this? Okay, let's move on to our third big strategy. The first one was why first. Your why comes first. The second is sequence matters. It's got to be why, how, what. And the third one is message motivates. Message motivates. The right message attracts the right people. The wrong message does not attract the right people. Which one do you think got the right message? How many of you have daughters? You ever seen that look before? Holy cow. So one of those two got the right message, and one of them got the wrong message, and you can see the difference in the reaction they have. So if you want to create the right message, and you know your why, and your how, and your what, the right message is right there, where they all three intersect. talk about why you do what you do, how you do what you do, and what it is you do. Just like we did with the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber of Commerce. If you were to look at your own message, if you were to look at your own marketing, I want you to write down where you think your message is in this continuum. Just on your paper, and then turn to the person next to you and tell them where your message is at. Give you 30 seconds. Okay, let me show you guys an example. Let me let you hear an example of how it affects you differently when we talk about what versus why. And I'll use my own business, my own dental practice, so you can see. This is our website. And so instead of talking about, we talk about why choose us, you're in the right place, but let me let you listen to a radio spot that we did recently that's made us many millions of dollars. And see if you can hear how different this is. So if we were like a regular dental office, our message might sound something like, we love teeth, we whiten teeth, we straighten teeth, we do crowns, bridges, fillings, complete gum care, we have the latest technology, a beautiful facility, great trained team, come see us, new patient exam, and anything you'd want for the rest of your life for 19 bucks. Right? Probably see those and hear those billboards and all that kind of stuff. See if you can hear the difference between that and this. Am I unplugged? Eventually we would have figured that out.
So what is this, Gary Sanchez Unplugged?
This is Gary Sanchez Unplugged. If somebody tried to unplug me, I don't blame them. Okay, let's see.
Sorry, Dr. Gary Sanchez.
At Sanchez Dental Associates, we believe that life is better with great teeth. We also know that there are so many people that are living below their potential. They are living a life of quiet desperation because of their teeth. They're embarrassed or they're in pain. They don't like to smile, they don't like to be social, they really aren't living. This usually happens because of fear, and it doesn't have to be that way. So our vision is to give these people their lives back. And the way we do this is by providing a safe, pain-free experience that alleviates their stress and allows them to get the smile they've always wanted, so they can be who they were meant to be. And that's what we do. I'm Dr. Gary Sanchez. If this sounds like your story, then give us a call at 268-2741 or visit us on the web at sanchezdental.com. Can you feel the difference between those two?
I can see the why, how, what, clearly.
The why, how, what as well. This is why we do it, this is how we do it, this is what we do. And it connects differently to you. It connects to your limbic brain versus connecting to your neocortex when you say, let me think about it. So if this is, every day we get people that come in and say, you know what, I was driving down the road and I heard your commercial come on, and that's me. I am being held back from who I'm meant to be because of my teeth. And I know that you understand me, and I know that I'm in the right place. And so our conversations start at a completely different level than anything you want for 19 bucks. Right? Totally different conversations when you start with your why, your how, and your what. And that's why your message matters. What you're saying matters. If you want to attract the right people to your business, your message matters. It's more than just throwing something out there and seeing if it sticks. It gives you an unfair advantage. Now this is the unfair advantage that I'm talking about. And you'll be able to use these 4 questions to evaluate your own messaging and your own marketing. So the first one is, did we talk why first or what first? What do you think is more effective? Why first or what first? Why first, right? How about, did we connect to the limbic brain or did we connect to the neocortex? Limbic, right? Do you guys want to talk to the decision maker, or do you want to talk to the one that can't make a decision? Decision maker. The limbic brain is the decision maker. That's where decisions happen. So who do you want to talk to? The one that makes one or the one that doesn't? So you want to talk to the limbic brain. How about the feeling brain or the thinking brain? It's the feeling brain. What we believe or what we do. Right? What we believe or what we do. You want to start with what we believe. We believe the right piece of jewelry can change your life. It can make you feel so good about yourself that you can't wait to wear it because it represents you and everything about you. Versus, I sell jewelry. I make jewelry. Okay, great. There's 50 people in town that make jewelry. Why you? Why should I buy from you? That's what people are looking for. So the question, is your message why or what focused? Turn to the person next to you and tell them, real quickly, 30 seconds. Is it why focused or what focused? Let's make a decision. Let's make a decision that today our message will be why focused. Okay, you guys, here were the 3 strategies that we talked about. The 3 strategies were, why first? Does that make sense? Everybody got it? Sequence matters. Everybody got it? Message motivates. Start with your why. Put it in the right sequence. Create a message that connects to the right people. And now we're really talking about attracting the right ones. So these were the problems that we talked about, was maybe your revenue's not where you want it. Maybe the graph is not up as high as you want. Maybe it's even going down. And maybe you're struggling with how to stand out. Can you see now, if you go with your why first, how you're going to stand out? The message will be so different than what you do. So when you talk about what you do, you blend in with everybody else who does what you do. Isn't that a lot of fun? No, it's not fun. You want to stand out for the thing that's your superpower, right? That's why I would choose you, is because of your superpower. And that's how you attract the right people to you. Can you see with my radio spot how I'm going to attract the right people to me? I don't want 22-year-old females that have no cavities, no gum disease, no nothing. I don't want them in my practice because I can't help them. What am I going to do for them? Nothing. Smile at them. I want somebody who has a lot of dental problems. Do you want people coming to your business that don't need what you have? Of course not. So how do you get the right ones to you? It's when you have the right message that motivates them to come to you.
Would it be a HIPAA violation if I told them about my 92 father-in-law that goes to see you?
No, that would be fine.
He's got a lot of teeth problems.
I know. So here's the big question. How do you do this, right? How do you do this? How many of you has this resonated for? Did this resonate with you guys? Has it been helpful? Okay, so Mark and Nicole and I talked about every time that I speak at events like this around the world, the next question is, okay, how do I get this? And that's why I didn't want you guys to focus on how do you get it. I want you to focus on learning the 3 concepts. But it's going to come a time when you're going to say, how do I get this for my office? How do I get this for my real estate company? How do I get this for my jewelry business? How do I get this for my insurance agency? And so we talked about a way that we could do this. And so we put together something for you. And so, but I want to tell you, this isn't for everybody. What we're going to do is not for everybody. If you're somebody that doesn't really like to do the work, if you're somebody that's not really coachable, if you're somebody that wants to keep doing things the way you're doing it, this is probably not for you. But if you're somebody that wants to make a bigger impact, and you want to connect with people on a deeper level, then this is going to be for you. And so what we decided to put together was a business, why, how, what workshop. Discovering your why, your how, and your what, so that you can get clear, so you can stand out, and you can play big in one day. One day you will have all of that for your business, so you can stand out. And these guys are handing out some sheets that I want to go through with you on what we're talking about. I'll let you guys all get that, because I want to go through the process with you. Because if this is something you want, I and my team will walk you step by step by step through the process, so that at the end of the one day, you will have what you need. So the code that we gave you guys, just so you know, for the Y app, I know a lot of you sent it out already to other people, and they get charged for that, just so you know, and that's okay with me. Probably not so good with them. So it was really just for you guys. There's other ways that we can do that. But let me go through this process with you. This is what we're talking about. Step 1, which is on there, is finishing your how and your what, so that you personally know your why, your how, and your what, so that you're clear on who you are, you're clear on who you have on your team, if you have a team, and you know how you all fit together. So you'll really quickly know, do I have the right person in the right place doing the right thing, so I have a passionate team? That's step 1, discovering your personal why, how, and what. For everyone on your team, you can bring up to 4 people. If you have more than 4, let's talk. The second thing is we're going to develop your business why, how, and what, like you saw with the Hispano Chamber. This is why we do what we do, this is how we do what we do, and this is what it is you can count on from us. So you know exactly what to say when somebody says, so what do you do? Hey, what do you do? Sell insurance. I don't know, I'm a dentist. Fix teeth. You have a much better answer that's real, that will attract the right people to you. And then the last thing is, we're going to talk about your business story. The emotional part of how you connect with people. There's a process, a system for each one of these. And I will walk you step by step through this, so that you have it in one day. It's not like 6 months of trying to figure it out. In one day, you will have this for your business. Okay? So if you wonder now, who in town have you done this with? Who have you worked with? I'll just give you a quick list of some people that you may know and you can talk to. Some of you may know Steve Maestas Development, ISHC Construction, Enterprise Builders, FHB Construction, my office, Canyon Club. The Canyon Club was revitalized. I don't know if any of you know that. This place was dead and dying. It was revitalized by Jerry Lujan over there, starting with their why, how, and what every meeting. Their why, how, and what. The Hispano Chamber of Commerce, Verge Fund, YPO groups, Vistage groups, Focus Creative, Star Group Consulting, Elevation 180, Improved Group, YABQ, Lucenda, US Eagle, YDI, the Echo Project. That's just a short list of some of the ones that we've taken through this exact process. If you talk to Steve Maestas, he'll tell you, I don't think the value of knowing our personal why can be understated. I think the revelation of understanding your team members' lens that they look through is really critical, but I think the thing that is going to really move us forward is the clarity and alignment of how we are communicating, why we are doing what we are doing, how it all works together, and it validates the time investment and energy investment that we are making to become an inspired company. He's done this multiple times. So some of you are probably thinking, well, that sounds great, but my business is growing, and Mark and Nicole and I were talking, and some of you are going to be adding new people to your business. And I said, well, so she said, what can we do for that? And I said, well, I want to add a bonus to this for you guys. I want to add the Business Why Formula Workshop online course, so that people that can't make it, and people that you hire in the future can go through the exact same process, and it'll bring them up to speed. And if you look on the website right now, that's the actual price of the course. It's what everybody pays. It's going to be part of the bonus. So here's what we're talking about. Here's the sheet that you have. I just went to Kirtland Air Force Base and I worked with lots and lots of the servicemen out there, and to do the live, and we did the personal why, how, and what, and they paid $250 per person. That's what they paid. The live business work, why, how, what workshop, when I do this outside of New Mexico, it's $15,000 to $30,000 a day. Inside of New Mexico, I charge $7,500. That's New Mexico. The business why, how, what online course you just saw was $12.97. So if we just add those up, the total is $97.97. So if you guys just paid regular, it's not working through Action Coach. It's not going to be $97.97 for Action Coach. It's going to be $3,500. So any of you that want to do this with me, and Mark, and Nicole, and our team, is $3,500. But I like to work with people that want to take action. So if there's people in this room that are ready to go, ready to do this for their business, it'll be $2,500. $2,500. And you will have your message, and you will be clear on who you have on your team and how you fit together, and what your why, how, and what is for your business. So if you contact me tomorrow and say, I forgot to fill it out, I forgot to do it, it's $3,500. And the only reason I do the $2,500 is so I don't have to follow up with you. So I don't have to try to find you. If you want it, it's here. If you call me next week, it's $3,500, just so you know. So I want you, there'll be some questions afterwards. So I want you to imagine, maybe 3 days from now, why is kind of seeped into everything you do. And you're starting to notice people reacting to you differently. And maybe 3 weeks from now, your message is starting to come out, and you're starting to talk more and more about your why. And you're seeing more of these. People saying, yeah. And maybe 3 months from now, your website has your why on it. And everything you do is focused on your why, your how, and your what. And you look back at today, with gratitude, and you say, man, I am so glad I discovered my why, how, and what. Because my business is at a completely different level than my competitors. And that's the experience I want you guys to have. I'm going to be here through lunch. If you have any questions, I know there are some. I know we need to take a break, but I'd love to work with you guys. That form is for all the business owners. I see a lot of you filling them out. I'd love to work with you. I'll be here to answer questions. So will Mark and Nicole. Thank you all very much.
So, Gary will be here. We have a break right now for 10 minutes. I was going to give you 15, but Nicole challenged me. You get it? That's her live challenge. And so 10 minutes. Everyone stand up. Give yourself a little space. We're going to close out, lock in the learnings, and let go of the past. And this is called a whoosh. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, whoosh. And when I do, you put your left arm, left leg out, and come back around. And I won't drop the mic, probably. I'll do this. Clap, okay? 1, 2, 3, whoosh. Ready? Lock it in. 1, 2, 3, whoosh. See you in 10 minutes.